tell me if this scenario sounds familiar. You open your laptop on a Tuesday morning, and your digital workspace is just an absolute graveyard of scattered information.
Oh boy, I know that feeling.
Like you've got 3 massive Zoom recordings just sitting in your downloads folder.
Taking up space.
Just taking up space. And there's a stack of unread, really dense PDF reports crowding your desktop. Plus, you probably have bookmarks to these 2-hour YouTube tutorials you swear you're going to watch eventually.
But you never actually do.
Never. And then there's a physical notebook sitting next to your keyboard filled with these frantic, completely illegible scribbles from yesterday's team sync.
Yeah.
You are essentially drowning in data, but completely starving for actual usable knowledge.
That is the modern knowledge worker's dilemma in a nutshell. I mean, we've never had more software tools designed to capture information. But the friction of actually retrieving and applying that information is, it's higher than ever.
It really is.
The cognitive load required just to figure out where a specific conversation lives. Like, is it in a Slack thread? Is it a voice memo? A cloud drive?
Or a physical notebook.
Or physical notebook.
Right.
It's exhausting before you even get to the actual work you need to do.
I deal with that friction every single day. Having information trapped in all these different silos is infuriating. So our mission for today's analysis of the source material is to figure out if this platform called HyNote AI actually solves this scattered information problem, or if it just, adds another shiny app to our already overflowing desktop.
To figure that out, we have to look at how this tool fundamentally positions itself. Because HyNote AI isn't pitching itself as just another basic transcription tool.
Okay.
It operates as an AI-powered note-taking and knowledge-based platform. And the critical element here is its multimodal nature. It's engineered to ingest 8 different types of inputs and funnel them all into one single unified workspace.
Wow, 8 different inputs covers a lot of ground. According to their documentation, we're talking about live audio recordings, uploading existing video or audio files, plain text, PDFs, web pages, YouTube links, even physical phone calls and voice memos from an Apple Watch.
That's quite a list.
It is. The goal seems to be acting as the centralized hub that just swallows all these different media types and turns them into structured, searchable text.
Which addresses that silo problem you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But we need to clarify the technology under the hood here, because the way it processes those 8 inputs is the real differentiator.
How so?
Well, for years, we've had speech-to-text tools that simply transcribe. They rely on these extractive models.
Okay, extractive.
But HyNote utilizes abstractive generative models.
Wait, I've used those older extractive transcription tools before, and the results are usually just a giant, unreadable block of text where every third word is completely misunderstood. So the sources say this abstractive model is different. It sounds like it actually understands the context rather than just playing a matching game with words.
That is a perfect way to put it. Think of extractive AI as like a panicked student highlighting random sentences in a textbook just because the vocabulary looks important.
Oh, I've been that student.
We all have. But abstractive AI actually interprets the semantic context of the material. So if someone in a really chaotic meeting says, I guess I can get that Q3 financial report over to the marketing team by Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
The system understands the conversational intent. It recognizes that a commitment was just made, it identifies the owner of the task, and it extracts the deadline. Then it uses that context to construct a structured business document, rather than just delivering a raw transcript of the messy dialogue.
Oh, I see. The actual features that process all this input are fascinating when you dig into them. Meeting notes are one thing, because you control the audio. But we're all used to those little AI bots joining our Zoom calls, announcing themselves in the chat, sitting awkwardly in the participant list.
So awkward.
But HyNote makes a very specific point of marketing a bot-free meeting transcription feature. It records directly from your device's microphone or system audio, whether you're using Zoom, Google Meet, Teams, or WebEx.
That bot-free element is a massive architectural choice.
Why is that so important?
When you think about professional etiquette, having an intrusive AI bot joining a sensitive client discovery call, or a legal consultation, or an HR review, it can instantly ruin the atmosphere.
Oh, definitely.
It raises immediate privacy red flags for participants who feel like they're suddenly being monitored by a third party. So recording directly from the user's device circumvents that social friction entirely. The meeting just feels normal.
And it handles over 50 languages, but the output is the part that actually saves time. You aren't just handed a transcript. It generates structured meeting minutes.
Which is huge.
It hands you the decisions made, the task owners, and the deadlines in a neat little summary. But meetings are only one type of input. Let's look at passive information consumption, like trying to extract insights from a long video. You can paste a YouTube URL directly into the platform, and it instantly generates timestamped notes, key takeaways, and a full summary of the video without you having to watch the whole thing.
It applies that exact same abstractive summarization to dense text documents, too. You can upload a 50-page PDF industry report, and it generates a high-level summary. Or you can use their Chat with PDF feature.
Chat with PDF.
You query the document interactively. If you ask a highly specific question about a data point, it provides an answer complete with clickable citations pointing back to the exact page and paragraph in the original file.
It's like having a personal librarian who has flawlessly memorized every single document, video, and meeting you've ever saved and can instantly point to the exact sentence you need.
It really is.
I was also really impressed by the OCR feature, optical character recognition. If you snap a photo of a whiteboard or a poorly lit slide deck after a long brainstorming session, it extracts that messy handwriting and makes it searchable text in your database.
They've also targeted the academic market with some pretty clever automated study tools. The platform auto-generates flashcards and practice quizzes directly from your uploaded lecture notes.
Oh, wow.
And they've built space repetition directly into those flashcards, which, as anyone who has crammed for a certification or a final exam knows, is the most effective way to actually beat the forgetting curve and retain information.
I want to talk about how actual people are putting this into practice daily, because features are basically useless if they don't fit into a workflow. Take a university student, for example. They can sit in a really dense, hour-long biology lecture and record the audio directly through the app on their phone. By the time they walk out of a lecture hall, they already have a structured summary, auto-generated flashcards, and a practice quiz ready to go for their midterms, without spending 3 hours manually formatting their notes.
Now consider a professional environment, like a software engineering team running a weekly sprint stand-up. Those meetings are notorious for generating rapid-fire updates, overlapping conversations, and just scattered commitments. People talk over each other. They change their minds mid-sentence.
Constantly.
Using this platform, the abstractive model listens to the stand-up, isolates the actual blockers, and auto-extracts the JIRA ticket action items, assigning them to the specific engineers who finalize the decision.
I think about a sales rep finishing a 45-minute discovery call with a tough prospect. Normally, they'd spend the next 20 minutes formatting their messy shorthand notes, trying to remember what specific white paper they promised to send over. With this, the AI instantly drafts a follow-up email based on the commitments made during the call, pulling in the exact details discussed.
The cross-pollination of formats is where the utility really scales up for researchers or content creators. Imagine you're researching a complex topic. You upload a dense foreign language PDF. You have the system translate it and summarize the key findings.
Okay.
Then you paste a link to a relevant YouTube interview on that same topic. Now, both the PDF insights and the video transcript are living in the same searchable workspace.
Oh, I see where you're going.
You can ask the AI a question, and it synthesizes an answer drawing from the translated PDF and the YouTube video simultaneously.
That multimodal capability is wild. It connects dots across completely different media types. And going back to the hardware inputs, you mentioned the student using the app. They could also use the Apple Watch feature to record a quick shower thought while walking across campus. Later, a consultant might use that OCR feature we talked about to snap a photo of a messy whiteboard after a client session. Everything just funnels into that same digital brain.
This brings us to the core value proposition. The sheer amount of time saved compared to manual processing. The traditional method of taking meeting notes requires a severe trade-off.
How do you mean?
Well, you're either frantically typing and acting as a stenographer, which means you're missing the nuance, the body language, and the subtext of the conversation. Or you're actively listening and risking forgetting the specific deliverables.
Active listening versus manual typing. It's a zero-sum game for human attention. By letting the AI capture the commitments and deadlines, you can actually be present in the conversation and make eye contact. The same time-saving principle applies to the YouTube feature. Instead of sitting through a 2-hour software tutorial waiting for the one specific shortcut you need, you just skim the timestamp summary. You find the exact 3-minute segment and you get back to work.
Navigating a massive PDF operates on the same logic. using the chat function to extract specific supply chain metrics from a 100-page financial report rather than reading it cover to cover. That fundamentally changes how quickly a knowledge worker can process information and make decisions.
I do need to push back here, though. I love the idea of never taking notes again. But we have to address the reality of AI accuracy. The marketing materials claim up to 99% accuracy for clear speech. But AI doesn't replace human review.
No, it doesn't.
You can't just blindly forward an AI-generated summary to your boss or a client without reading it. It might completely miss a sarcastic comment. It'll probably butcher an inside joke. And it can invent implied commitments that were never actually finalized by the group.
The AI structuring is a starting point, is not the final word. It provides a highly organized first draft of reality. Human oversight remains absolutely non-negotiable.
For sure.
You always need to verify the output against the original source, which is why those clickable citations pointing back to the specific timestamp or PDF paragraph are so critical. They allow you to audit the AI's work instantly.
Usually when an AI tool promises to be my personal librarian and handle this much complex data, it comes with a massive enterprise-level price tag. Am I going to have to expense this to my boss?
Well, based on the latest official information, they do offer a permanently free tier.
Oh, really?
It requires no credit card, and it covers basic audio recording, transcription for up to 120 minutes per session, and cross-device sync. Honestly, for light, occasional needs, that's genuinely usable.
That's pretty generous.
Moving up the tiers, the Pro plan is roughly $80 a year, which works out to $6.66 a month. That bumps your transcription limits up to 1,200 minutes a month and allows for exporting your notes. Then you have the Plus plan at roughly $130 a year, or $10.83 a month.
The Plus plan seems to be where the heavy hitter features actually live. That tier unlocks the real-time speaker identification, which is crucial if you have more than 2 people in a room. And it gives you direct transfers to external tools like Notion and Google Docs.
For larger groups, they offer a Teams plan at $15 per seat per month, adding shared templates and administrative controls. But I want to point out a vital pricing detail that software companies love to bury.
Uh-oh.
The website defaults to annual billing.
The classic software as a service trap. They show you a tiny monthly number, but charge your card for the whole year up front.
To get those attractive lower monthly rates of $6.66 or $10.83, you're required to make an upfront annual commitment. If you toggle to true monthly billing, the prices jump significantly. It requires a realistic look at what features you actually need. If you only transcribe solo voice memos, the freer Pro plan is plenty. But if you're recording multi-person meetings and need the AI to distinguish who said what, or if you refuse to copy-paste and demand that automated Notion integration, you're basically forced into the Plus plan.
Since we're talking about uploading highly private internal meetings, sensitive client calls, and confidential PDFs, I want to talk about data security. How secure is this centralized workspace?
According to their factual security details, the data is heavily encrypted. They use AES 256 encryption at rest and TLS 1.3 in transit. They also align with major privacy frameworks, including GDPR, CCPA, and IPA compliance.
Wow.
Most importantly, for enterprise users who are wary of generative AI, they explicitly state that user content is not used to train their foundational AI models.
The documentation says AES 256 at rest. For anyone not working in cybersecurity, that basically means even if someone were to hack into HyNote servers, your client's confidential PDF is essentially shredded into unreadable code without your unique decryption key. And the TLS 1.3 in transit means it's encrypted while it travels from your laptop to their cloud.
It is very robust technical security.
That encryption is great. But this raises an important question about the reality of recording consent. We talked earlier about how amazing the bot-free recording feature is for keeping meetings natural, but the human hosting that meeting is still legally and ethically responsible for disclosing that the conversation is being recorded. Because the tool is invisible to the other participants, the legal burden of transparency falls entirely on you.
We have to separate the tool's technical security from the user's operational responsibility. The technology makes invisible recording possible. But depending on your jurisdiction, especially in regions with strict two-party consent laws, failing to disclose that you're capturing the audio can carry severe legal consequences. The lack of a visible bot on the screen doesn't change the law.
Let's run through a rapid-fire reality check to synthesize all of this. What are the definitive strengths and the glaring limitations of this platform? On the plus side, the ability to consolidate 8 different input formats is a massive workflow upgrade. It replaces the need to pay for 3 separate apps, one for audio dictation, one for chatting with PDFs, and a browser extension for webclipping. Plus, the free tier is actually functional, not just a crippled 3-day trial.
As for limitations, the transcription accuracy is heavily dependent on your audio quality.
Makes sense.
Background noise in a busy coffee shop, overlapping crosstalk in a heated meeting, or a cheap laptop microphone will significantly degrade the output. Regardless of how sophisticated the AI claims to be, garbage in, garbage out.
There's also a very specific, slightly clunky hardware limitation regarding physical phone calls. If you want to record a cellular phone call, you can't just do it natively through the app while wearing your Bluetooth headphones.
Oh, that's right.
Apple and Android lock down native call recording. So to bypass this, you have to purchase and physically attach a specific piece of hardware, the HyNote voice recorder device, which uses a vibration sensor, and it sticks to the back of your phone.
It's a significant friction point for users expecting a purely software-based solution for their mobile calls. Carrying around a physical attachment isn't ideal. Users should also be highly aware that the 7-day free trials for the premium tiers will automatically convert to paid annual subscriptions if they aren't actively manually canceled in the settings.
Based on all these pros, the cons, the pricing structures, and those hardware quirks, who is this actually for? Let's get specific on the ideal user.
The ideal user is the multimodal knowledge worker.
Okay.
This is the product manager, the graduate student, the management consultant, or the deep dive researcher. These are people who constantly switch contexts between listening to audio, watching video, and reading dense text. And they desperately need a single, unified, searchable knowledge base to make sense of all those different formats.
Who should probably save their money and skip it?
People who only need basic native captions. If you're fine with Apple or Google's built-in dictation tools for quick grocery lists, this platform is complete overkill. It's also not designed for large enterprise sales teams. Those teams require deep CRM coaching analytics, pipeline forecasting, and advanced call scoring, which this doesn't do.
If I can distill it down, the perfect user is the person who is currently struggling with post-meeting administrative work. It's the professional who realizes they're spending more time organizing, formatting, renaming files, and searching for their notes than they are actually utilizing the information within them.
The true value of this tool isn't merely transcription. Transcription is a cheap commodity at this point. The real value is transforming static, dead files into an interactive, structured workspace where you can actually find what you need.
Before we wrap up, we want to include a short disclosure. If you decide to try the product through the links in the description below, the show may earn a small affiliate commission, which helps keep the lights on for our team.
And if you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to hit the subscribe button. We consistently provide these practical, no-nonsense analyses of AI tools so you can figure out what's actually useful for your daily workflow and what's just expensive marketing noise.